Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Pam Drummond. I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation for the town of Henrietta. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight and congratulations to all our inductees. You should be very proud. I'm sure your families are very proud of you tonight. Also would like to thank Anita Ticket Check and Becky and Andrea for all they do, and the youth board for all you did to make this possible. And I'd like to bring up Supervisor Schultz now and to say a few words. Thanks, Jean.
I don't know if I was supposed to use the stairs, but most direct route. Welcome everybody to the 47th Annual Youth Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Pretty remarkable number. The 26 students that you see in your program who will be walking across the stage this evening, they'll be the 921st through the 946th recipients of this honor. So, great. You know, it's interesting with this Hall of Fame and the way they set it up, because these students are not necessarily the top of their class academically, although they could be. They're not necessarily elite athletes, although they could be. What these students have in common is that they have faced challenges in their lives and have overcome them to give back to the community. Sometimes in a small way, sometimes in a significant way. And of course, these recipients, like the two classes before them, have faced added challenge of attending high school during the global pandemic. As a parent of two children who were in school at that time, I have personally seen the toll that the isolation and added stress from the pandemic put on our children. It has been a struggle, but hopefully it will be that fire which forges a stronger iron. Since becoming town supervisor, my favorite part of the job is getting to meet the Eagle Scouts, the Gold Star Scouts, the winners of our bicentennial time capsule writing contest, and of course, the inductees of the Youth Hall of Fame. It is children like these that give me hope for a bright future. And actually, for most of them, I will say young adults that kind of move past the children's stage, right? Thank you very much. I'd like to now introduce Dr. Jesse Redlow, Chairman of the Youth Board and Program Manager in the Saunders College of Business at RIT. Jesse?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Appreciate that. And welcome everyone to this incredible event. You want me to do that first? We're doing that first, maybe? Okay. So we're going to actually start with so we're going to start with the presentation of colors from the Corps of the Cadets 209th Regiment. So
I'd like everyone now to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the nation. Please remain standing. I'd like to call forward together right now 4 of our Youth Hall of Fame inductees: Ella Leathersich, Ashlyn Markowitz, Chelsea Maynard, and Haley Richardson, who will be honoring our country with the national anthem. Please come forward.
What so proudly we heard at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we marched, were so gallantly streaming. On the rocket's red monsters singing, we moved through the night, and the flag was still there. Oh, say don't flag stars spangled banner yet o'er the land of the free and the home
Just over. Nice job, ladies.
All right, thank you, everyone. Please be seated. So just a few logistical things I'll go over for our event tonight. You're welcome to take pictures. This event is being recorded over Zoom, and the link will be emailed out to all of you around May 1st. We also have Gene Avalone, who's here from Park Avenue Photos. He's taking pictures of the ceremony. If you would like access to any of those pictures, please reach out to Anita, and we'll make sure that you get those. I want to do just some quick introductions to recognize some of our dignitaries in attendance. From the Henrietta Town Board, we have council members Rick Page, Millie Safranek, Lisa Bolzner, and Joe Belanca Jr., who's also a liaison to the youth board. We have some invited guests and sponsors here tonight. Our keynote speaker, Leslie Zink Ward, New York State Assembly member Harry Bronson. We have Monroe County Legislature for the 13th District, Michael Ubelson, Henrietta Town Justices Robert Cook and Stephen Donsky. We also have Dr. Barbara Mullen, the superintendent of the Russian Henrietta Central School District, which is particularly special. She began her position on April 3rd, and we want to take this opportunity to give her a warm welcome to the Russian Henrietta community. We also have Nirwand Ansam, the Assistant Superintendent of Student and Family Services, Russian Henrietta School Board President Diane McBride, Russian Henrietta School Board Vice President Scott Adair, and school board members May Abdullah, Suzanne Bennett, and Rachel Sherman, who is also the liaison to the Henrietta Youth Board, Dr. Tim Schaefer, principal of the Russian Henrietta High School, Walter Moore, the 12th grade assistant principal, Aaron Wright, who's a Russian Henrietta teacher and advisor to National Honor Society, and Marina Sweeney, Russian Henrietta High School ENL teacher and advisor to the Diversity Club. And then I'd also like to recognize my fellow youth board members who have been instrumental in putting this event together. Vice Chair Barbara Christensen, Harmony Safranek, Albert Barrett, Bridget Bartholomew, Ellen Glenna, who's our public library liaison to the youth board, Peter Burke, and Lucretia Scott, our community liaison to the youth board. I also like to take a moment and recognize Sandra Lehman, who's here tonight in support of her grandson. Sandra is actually a member of the youth board that created this event back in 1976. So we thank her for her contributions.
Thank you.
We also have some youth board student members here tonight, Tracy Sung and Mariah Augustin. And Mariah is also one of our inductees this year. So we're glad she can be here. We also want to acknowledge our Henrietta Parks and Rec Department staff. I'm going to ask all of them to stand to be recognized. Pam, our director who you met, Craig, the assistant director, Anita, Jordan, Rebecca, Andrea, Mary Beth Raycor from Youth Asset Team, and Stephanie Bates from Youth Asset Team. Okay, so and now I'm gonna ask Councilman Page to come up to deliver a message of thanks.
Before we enjoy our dinner this evening, I would like to begin by offering a proclamation or a blessing of thanks for everyone who made this evening possible. First and foremost, I would like to thank each of our inductees, along with the school, town, and community members who nominated them. Tonight, we get to meet and recognize our local youth, who are the future of our country and our communities. Thank you to our Henrietta Youth Board and its selection committee, the Henrietta Town Board, the Henrietta Parks and Recreation Department, the Rush Henrietta Central School District, the RIT and Conference Center, and to each of our inductees and their families and guests. We recognize our students have overcome significant hardships, the loss of a loved one, many who have dedicated themselves to unselfish service to others. Their gifts and talents often overlooked, but always so appreciated. We also want to recognize and thank the adults in our community that support and encourage our youth as they travel the difficult road leading to their full potential. We are also very thankful for our town and school district who tirelessly work to develop programs and services that support all who live here, making it possible to say our new town motto, which is Henrietta, a town for all. A special note of appreciation for all our state, county, and local dignitaries who took the time to join us and or to send proclamations celebrating our 2023 Hall of Fame members. As we begin our meal, the RIT and Conference Center will invite each table individually to the buffet. Thank you for being here and thank you for taking the time to honor our children, the most important gift that we have.
All right, so I'm just going to quickly read off the appreciations. My name is Harmony Sopranik. I'm first announcing the certificates that our students have received from our local dignitaries. They have received certificates from Congressman Joseph Morelli, New York State Senator Jeremy Cooney, New York Assembly Member Harry Bronson, New York State Supreme Court Judge, 7th District, the Honorable Justice Alice Renzi, Monroe County Legislator Michael Udelson is here tonight on behalf of Steve Brew, the Monroe County Legislator Majority Leader of the 12th District, Monroe County Legislator 5th District Richard Milne, and then Monroe County Legislator 14th District Susan Hugh Smith. Also here tonight is Monroe County Youth Bureau Executive Director Tony Jordan. And we want to say thank you to Stephanie Young and her team at the RIT Inn and Conference Center for being so accommodating for us tonight. We're going to have just a quick big thanks to all of our event sponsors found in your programs. And then inductees, your pictures and the plaque will hang in the town clerk's office for an entire year. In the spring of 2025, the plaque will move to the Henrietta Recreation Center for permanent placement. And now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Jesse.
Thank you, Harmony. So I have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker tonight, Ms. Leslie Zink Ward, the co-owner and director of concept and business development at Love and Cup Bistro and Brews. Leslie is a 1998 alum of the Rush Henrietta Central School District and a Hall of Fame inductee herself from that time. She went on to further her education at MCC and Nazareth College. She's a lifelong Rochester resident with a strong passion for our community. She thrives on creating community events to support responsible local businesses and nonprofits to grow our community. Through good food, beverage, and music, she brings people together. Leslie attributes much of her success to the supportive Rochester area and the tight-knit group of people who saw her vision of Love and Cup from the beginning and helped to make it a reality. Outside of her professional endeavors, Leslie's a devoted wife and mother to her husband Eric and son Jewel. She's truly the embodiment of a community-focused, socially responsible business activist that we should all strive to be. So please join me in welcoming my dear friend, Leslie Zink Ward.
Well, thank you, Jesse, for that amazing introduction. You painted me quite well. I really appreciate it. So I just want to say it is incredibly cool to be here tonight with all of you. It's hard to believe that I was sitting in the same seats that you were sitting 23 years ago. So I'm ancient, basically. I wanted to take a second to tell you what an honor it is to be celebrating with you. I'm looking forward throughout the night to learning more about each and every one of you. It's an incredible distinction to be inducted in the Youth Hall of Fame. But it's each of you that earned that distinction, whether it be through your contributions to the community. For others, perhaps, as aforementioned by others, you have faced maybe a number of obstacles, and you've done so with grace and determination. But either reason, you have been identified as someone who is admirable. These attributes will get you far through life's challenges, helping you achieve your personal goals. So I feel like Jesse hit on a lot of things, and I'm going to be a little redundant here, but I lived in Henrietta my whole life. I love this town. I'm a proud RH graduate. I loved the moments that I spent at that school and the friends that I formed. It was a big part of what formed me as who I am. So I really appreciate that experience. So I want to first tell you a little bit about my journey, because you guys are about to partake. You've already been on your journey, but you're going to keep moving along. So I want to. So after high school, when I really had no idea what I wanted to do, what the heck I wanted to do, which is okay, really. You know, I think sometimes there's a lot of pressure on that situation, and sometimes I feel like, and maybe I'm gonna allude to being a hippie like many times, but I think sometimes it finds you eventually, you know, but take every experience and it will lead you to, I think, where you wanna be. So I begrudgingly went to MCC while all my friends went away to college, which, you know, at that point I was like jealous, and I thought that was like the college experience, right? The true college experience. And I had a misconception of what it was going to be. So I went there, and in spite of my kicking and screaming all the way to my first day of classes, I found it to be a truly great experience. I saved money. I swam with what was the #2 national swim team. And I received several medals, All-American, Academic All-American, which was great. The 2+2 programs, which I'd highly recommend to you if you're still trying to figure out what you want to do. And I say that as someone that just really didn't want to do it. Like, I had different ideas in my head, but it was really wonderful. And I even have friends that went to go do the true college experience that they wish they kind of went that route. So, you know, I think that sometimes it takes us some time to figure out who we are. My second 2 years, the 2+2, I was at Nazareth College. I studied literature and education, hoping to become a high school English teacher. I enjoyed it, but when I went to student teach, I just realized it wasn't really for me. It's kind of one of those things where you gotta like kind of experience these things and you kind of figure yourself out, right? My teaching education would, however, come in handy later because I was an adjunct professor at MCC. So I did take something away from that, and I acknowledge that very much. I then spent a few years working at Paychex, which is a wonderful, highly renowned company. Rochester is famous for it. We have a lot of cool businesses that we're famous for. For me, I'm a bit of a free spirit. Maybe you get that vibe. It was a little too corporate for me, not because it's awesome, but I just kind of wanted to break out of the cubicles. But I would learn things that I would use later in life. Human resources, writing employee handbooks. The things I learned they were very helpful in opening a small business. So I also gained some of my best friendships that I've maintained for years. One thing I did know I wanted to do was event planning, which everyone wanted experience when I would like go from interview to interview. They were like, what have you done? And I'm like, my younger 20s. I realized this from volunteering in my community. I realized I loved event planning from volunteering in the community, I should say. I also love the creative aspect of seeing hard work coming together into something amazing that people are enjoying and memories. So finally, one of my favorite jobs that I had, Camp Good Days and Special Times hired me. They took a chance on me because I didn't have the experience that everyone else was looking for. To plan their special events and fundraising. And that's how they run. I don't know how familiar you are with Camp Good Days, but that's how they run all of their camps for kids, oncology programs for women and men. It's a very cool place. So one thing I will say when I went to the interview this is a little bit of advice. When I went to the interview with Camp Good Days and Special Times, I didn't have the experience, but I built up, don't forget to talk about your organic experiences. So in my case, I brought up charity work that I've done, public relations work that I've done, that I did for a local band. All this community stuff that you do is showing who you are, and you need to showcase that 100%. And that experience was very special because while I was raising money, I got to experience firsthand where that money was going to, which is very, very fulfilling. So where did hospitality come into play? Because you guys know from Jesse that I own a restaurant. I joke with my mother, who Jesse and I worked with at MCC, as hospitality. It's been her lifelong career. And that it was apt to find me someday, and find me it did. So how I kind of made my way into it, my now father-in-law approached me to come work for his restaurant while I was working at Camp Good Days, marketing, catering, sales, etc. I worked there a bit and learned many skills I was going to have to infiltrate into my current business, Love and Cup. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But before I tell you more about Love and Cup, I just want to say, despite telling you how I got here, I'm trying to make a point. You can take something away from any situation or experience, whether it's skills, culture, connections, and or friendships. So just take, that into stride as you kind of make your way through. So the story of Love and Cup started when I was in college as a fleeting thought of a coffee house with music, after being inspired by traveling around watching hippie music and falling in love with the culture, the art, the music, and the people. It seemed like it would be a beautiful dream to fulfill, but I sort of pushed it aside. I was young. I didn't think it was like something that I could actually do at that point. Thinking if it's supposed to happen, it will come to. Approximately 8 years later, which is kind of crazy because it's not that long, while still working for my father-in-law, I was doing catering sales calls at RIT, and someone shared renderings of Park Point, which is the plaza I'm in, which is this large plaza with apartments and retail on the bottom, beautiful large courtyard, which I just was like, oh my God, I can throw so many concerts, this is gonna be great. And I just wanted to be there. And this idea kind of came back to me. I gotta say, not many people can say that they had an opportunity to see their dream come into fruition. I have, and I'm very lucky that through networking, I stumbled upon a team who believed in my vision, and you alluded to that. I have very amazing people around me. Part of this vision, a very big part of this vision, was to bring a space that was more than a restaurant, a place that embodied things I had imagined and more. Some things that were important to me was to bring a place that brought a sense of community to the town I grew up in. I felt like it was a missing component in Henrietta, like just this very community-driven place. So creating a culture with a conscious understanding of what a community-driven environment is important to our whole team. And I'd advise that for each of you, no matter what way you go. We will be celebrating 15 years this August. And that is like crazy because we opened during the Great Recession in 2008. And then as aforementioned by our supervisor, COVID-19 was no fun thing for a restaurant to go through, both from a restaurant standpoint, and we are a music venue. The success of Lemon Cup comes from many places, but I think singularly, the most important thing to me is to create and support the community through facets, including community events, and I do a lot of those. Community events that support what we have around us, working with like-minded businesses, breweries, wineries, local restaurants, organizations. It's really important, I think. I love Rochester and I love Henrietta, and I think it's really important to celebrate what we have here and not take it for granted. We do a ton of fundraisers for various organizations around Rochester. We just did one, just as an example, for an organization called the Ugandan Water Project. And we raised over $15,000. Some of you may know this and some of you may not, but we take water for granted in the United States. In Uganda, they have to literally walk miles, get buckets, bring them back, filter it out. We were able to provide 7 communities with a tank that would give them water every day. Another thing that is important to us is building people up, giving them opportunities. Music is very, very important to us. We rotate our art on our walls. We don't take any commission. We just want to showcase people and they have the opportunity to sell it, and I think it's really, really important. We have fun and propelling music competitions that I think more importantly than anything, it's a busy night. That's not what I'm looking for. It's important to me to push people to take the next step. So when people have done these music competitions, several of them, I would say most of them, I would say 80%, either started a band or just got on the stage more. A few of them were on The Voice. It's just really important for me to breed confidence in people, and I think that's a really cool thing. So our goal is to support and inspire, and I think that's a great way to kind of put your karma out there. So to end my incredibly long-winded self, know this. It's important to know that life is a journey. It's not a race. Be open-minded, but don't be afraid to speak up with your own ideas. I'm proud of having a place in our town. I'm proud of each of you, and I can't wait to see the places you go and the things you will continue to do. Oh, I just sounded like Dr. Seuss. To end this, I'm going to share my friend Jeff Dale. He owns Three Heads Brewery, and he's an incredibly beautiful person who shares the same values as me. He has a specific set of rules which he has created as a guide to life, and I'm going to share those with you. And they go something like this. Find your happy. Don't let others define you. Leave it better than you found it, which I think you all are doing already. And the last one, and I'm going to rephrase it because he's a little more crass, but always be kind. Keep doing what you're doing and you'll get where you want to be. Thank you guys so much. I'm so excited to learn more about you tonight.
Okay, so we're now going to be doing the certificates. The inductees, you can come over to my left, your right. You'll receive your certificate here, and then you will come out on stage, shake hands with dignitaries. I find it funny that when they say something about, I have to sign these things that say responsible party. And I'm always like, man, they didn't know me as a kid. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. We'll start one by one here and introduce our inductees. So as you come forward, come to the stage and we will present your certificates. Sujad Al-Rubai. Yes, but any parents that would like to come up and take pictures, feel free to do so. We'll pause as do that. I'm gonna mess this up. El-Karawi. Sorry. Catherine Arbogast. Ryan Augustine. Mamadou Fairley. Emo Bartholomew. Serena Brown. Jocelyn Cedeno. Madison Doster. Ford. Liam Adonis. Ella Leathersage. Stephen Lewandowski.
Evangelina Mack. Ashlyn Markovich. Emma Martin. Chelsea Maynard. Connor McGovern. Aaron Merkel. Thomas Proctor. Gabrielle Richards. Haley Richardson. Avery Roberts. Evan Roby. Natalie Smith. Kylie Waters.
Hi, my name is Ellen Glenna, and I am the liaison from the library to the youth board. And first of all, I want to say congratulations to all the wonderful students tonight. You all were wonderful. The youth board is a great board to be on. It's an honor and a privilege. And this is our favorite job that we do. It's a very difficult job because obviously we know there are a lot of wonderful seniors graduating from Henrietta. However, we have the job to pick a certain special group that have had challenges and difficulties and peer pressure. Especially this year, a lot of mental anxiety. And a lot of these names were teens that gave someone a smile, helped people that needed help, peer support. I could go on forever. But anyways, a lot of familiar faces. If you haven't been to the library, come and say hello.
I was promoted to the library. All right, so for those who don't know me, my name is Anita Sikachek, and I've had the pleasure to work on this event since 2017. Like Alan said, this is our favorite event. Many of you in my role at the Recreation Department, I've gotten to know them since you were really, really little. And some of you I've had the pleasure of meeting the last couple of years if you have volunteered for the recreation program. So you guys are amazing, and I'm so glad you're here. As you see tonight, I brought up this is what I was going to say, but with my bifocals, I'll get half of it done, so be patient with me. Before we close tonight, we just want to give thanks to all the people who work behind the scenes. And the first two people I would like to thank is Mrs. Moss and Mrs. Ottman, who work at the school. If you see them, thank them. Mrs. Moss has worked with me since 2021. I'm doing this event, and without her, I could not do it. She's my helper over at the school district. But unfortunately, due to special circumstances this year, she was unable to continue. So Mrs. Ottman stepped in, and I gotta be honest, she had no clue what she was getting herself into. So please say thank you to her. She's wonderful. Again, like Ellen said, this is the youth board's favorite event, and you don't know how hard they work. They work all year through to do special programs for the youth and families in our community, but this is their favorite, and they work really hard. So thank you to all the youth board members. We really appreciate it. I also like to thank the recreation department, all the staff from our director, Pam Grumman, to Becky and Andrea, Jordan, who's here tonight, but all our rec staff work hard on this event. And we were just lucky to have them because they work hard planning activities all year through. And not to forget our town board and our supervisor who work tirelessly for our community, planning so many special things for our community and are so willing to support everything we do. So thank you to our supervisor. So as I said, I'm skipping pages because I can't see. But in closing, I want to just talk to the inductees for a minute. You guys, like I said, are just wonderful. And you are amazing. And now you're starting a new adventure, and I know that can be scary. So I want to wish you the best of luck. I want to leave you with a quote that I just recently read by Ariana Huffington. And I would like to share this with you. We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll mess up royally sometimes, understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success. So the best advice I can give each of you is to stay true to yourselves, and take the time to enjoy your new journey that's ahead of you and be open to learn new things. I also want to remind you that even though we're honoring you tonight, you didn't get here without the help and support of your families, your teachers, your friends, and other adults in your life. So please take the time to thank all of them. My dad would have said the same thing. So at this time, I would like to thank all the people who came to honor all of you tonight and to have all of us stand up and give a round of applause to our inductees.